Every stage in Skylar Grey's career, you've definitely heard her voice. You just might not know it. That haunting hook on Eminem and Rihanna's Love the Way You Lie? She wrote it. That soaring chorus on Diddy's Coming Home? Her again. The piano-led I Need a Doctor with Dr. Dre? Yep, that's her too. She's written for some of the biggest names in modern music, and somewhere in the middle of all of that, she nearly walked away from music for good, alone, broke, and living in a cabin in the Oregon woods. Her name is Skylar Grey, but that wasn't always her name. Let's take a closer look at every stage in her career. All-American speakers. Stage 1. The Wisconsin Beginnings. She was born Holly Brook on February 23, 1986, in Mazomanie, Wisconsin, a village so small you'd miss it if you blinked twice on the highway. Her childhood was practically scored with music. Her mother, Candace Kreitlow, was a folk singer, and by the time Holly was 6, the two of them were already performing professionally as a mother-daughter folk duo called Generations. Most kids that age are still learning to tie their shoes. Holly was learning harmony. She plays nearly a dozen instruments, including piano and guitar, and by her teens, she was writing her own songs in her bedroom. There was no plan B for Holly. Music was the plan, the dream, and the only option she was interested in. Ace Showbiz +2. Stage 2, becoming Holly Brook. In 2003, at 17, Holly moved to Los Angeles and recorded a demo under the alias Holly Brook, the stage name she'd carry for the next several years. In 2004, she signed a publishing deal with Universal Music Publishing Group and a recording contract with Machine Shop Recordings, the label co-owned by Mike Shinoda and Brad Delson of Linkin Park. Yes, that Linkin Park. Suddenly, the girl from the Wisconsin village was rubbing shoulders with some of the biggest rock stars on the planet. She released her debut studio album, Like Blood Like Honey, in 2006. She toured with Grammy winner Duncan Sheik in 2009 and opened for K.D. Lang, Teddy Geiger, and Jamie Cullum. From the outside, it looked like a dream taking off. From the inside, the radio singles weren't landing, and Holly, just barely old enough to vote, was running out of runway. Stage 3. The Collapse. Here's where the dream cracked. Holly later said the first time around it just didn't work, and she learned a lot of really hard lessons. She didn't have any knowledge of the music industry, and she didn't really know on a creative level what she wanted to sound like. It led to a spiral of depression and being broke. She lost her record deal. Her management left. She went through a bad breakup. And worst of all, she'd lost her love for music itself. She has said in interviews that staying in L.A. might have cost her her life. So she did the unthinkable. She walked away. Stage 4. The Cabin in the Woods. Holly moved to the Artilla Retreat in Bandon, Oregon. No rent, just labor traded for shelter. For months, she lived in the woods by herself, teaching herself how to survive and proving to herself she was capable of living in this world on her own instead of relying on so many others. She put together a little recording studio for herself up there. She wasn't trying to write a hit song. She just wanted to be creative and free. Out there in that quiet, she also chose a new name, Skylar Grey. Skylar for the sky she could finally see. Grey for the fog she was slowly walking out of. The lost soul became someone else entirely. Stage 5. The Song That Changed Everything. While still in Oregon, Skylar visited her Universal Music publisher, Jennifer Blakeman, in New York to seek help presenting her work. Blakeman suggested she collaborate with British producer Alex da Kid. The two had never met. Alex emailed her tracks while she was in the cabin. Skylar would go to an internet cafe in the town outside of where she was living to get them. The very first song they finished together was about a relationship that burns, even though it hurts. It was passed along to Eminem, who wrote the verses, and Rihanna, who recorded the chorus. None of them had ever been in the same room together. The song was called Love the Way You Lie, and in the summer of 2010, it took #1 in 26 charts and was nominated for 4 Grammy Awards. Skylar herself earned a Grammy nomination for Song of the Year. The Girl in the Woods had written one of the biggest songs on the planet. Stage 6, the Grammy stage with Dr. Dre and Eminem. The phone didn't stop ringing. In 2011, she made her national television debut as Skylar Grey performing I Need a Doctor alongside Eminem and Dr. Dre at the 53rd Annual Grammy Awards. Picture that for a second. A year earlier, she had been alone in a cabin in Oregon. Now she was singing under the lights at the Grammys, the world watching. Stage 7, the hitmaker era. What followed was a run of songwriting that very few people in modern pop have matched. She wrote Diddy Dirty Money's Coming Home, Lupe Fiasco's Words I Never Said, T.I.'s Castle Walls, and Cascade's Room for Happiness. She co-wrote Clarity for German-Russian producer Zed. She lent her voice to Fort Minor's Where'd You Go, and later co-wrote Macklemore's Glorious. Beyond the credits you can see, she's also written for Kehlani, Pink, Nicki Minaj, Celine Dion, and Beyoncé. Her work has lit up the Billboard Hot 100 with more than 15 million singles sold globally, and she's a 5-time Grammy nominee. And most of the world still doesn't know her face. That's a level of behind-the-scenes power most artists never reach. Stage 8, the solo albums. Even with all that hit writing for other people, Skylar never stopped releasing music under her own name. Her second studio album, Don't Look Down, came out in 2013 on Kaidina Corner and Interscope Records, featuring a single called Come On Let Me Ride with Eminem. Her third album, Natural Causes, was released in September 2016, and in April 2022 she released her fourth album, the self-titled Skylar Grey, a quieter, more personal record that received critical acclaim and showed her evolution as an artist. Stage 9, the personal storms. Behind the music there was real life, and real life wasn't always kind. In 2017, she was granted a temporary restraining order against her ex-husband Todd Mandel after he allegedly stalked her and her boyfriend, Elliot Taylor. The divorce that followed was so financially brutal that she sold her music catalog 2 years prior to be able to afford to settle the divorce suit. In 2023, she announced her intention to re-record her hit songs. If that move sounds familiar, it should. It's the same playbook Taylor Swift famously used. Skylar was simply doing it on her own terms. Stage 10, the now. Today, Skylar is engaged to Elliot Taylor. She left Kaidina Corner and Interscope and is now an independent artist, still writing, still releasing music, and still collaborating across genres, from Tommy Prophet to electronic producers like Audion and Dabin. The girl from Mazomanie has lived enough lives for 3 musicians. She's been Holly Brook. She's been a forgotten artist on a major label. She's been a recluse in a cabin. She's been the secret hand behind some of the biggest songs of the century. And she's been a survivor of an industry that almost broke her. So what's the takeaway from every stage of Skylar Grey's career? Maybe it's that sometimes the best song you'll ever write comes after the world tells you you're finished. Or maybe it's just that you should never count out the quiet ones. If you enjoyed this video, check out our other videos on the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.